From little girls to teachers, they're made to remove their hijab before entering schools. Where is the law prohibiting hijabs? Students ask in the Karnataka court, pointing out that Kendriya Vidyalayas allow headscarves. Amidst the hijab row, colleges to reopen in Karnataka, the pre-university colleges to reopen from February 16th, tweets the state education minister. Retail inflation at 6.01% in January, the highest in 6 months. The rupee weakens to 75. The fear of invasion drives oil prices near $100 a barrel, but the RBI governor says inflation is under control. Valentine Day voting in Goa and Uttarakhand. The second phase of voting in UP winds up. 113 seats done, 290 to go. Now the battleground shifts to Punjab. The Prime Minister holds his first rally in the state post the security breach fiasco. Targets the Chief Minister Channi, Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal campaign and hold road shows in the state. LIC employees' unions protest against the impending IPO, but the Finance Minister says the government is committed to this, calling it India's biggest IPO. And ISRO's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV C-52 blasts off from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota. There is no law that prohibits the use of headscarves in educational institutions. That is what lawyers representing students who have been insisting on wearing their hijabs to educational institutions argued in the Karnataka High Court on Monday. While the hearings continue, the key argument being made is that the hijab is mandatory as per the Quran and that there is no authority that can say no to its use unless it is a law and order issue.
These students, as young as 10-year-olds, were stopped by a teacher outside the Rotary School in Mandya district of Karnataka. The teacher of the private school was seen asking students to remove their hijab. Arguments ensued between the teacher and parents who refused to consider the request that if students could take their hijabs off inside the classrooms.
At least classroom gantanaru budi anta adru illa anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅವರು ಈಚೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಈಚೆನೆ ತೆಗಿಸಿ, ಇದೊಂದು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟು, ನಾವೇನು ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇವತ್ತೊಂದಿನ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ, 144 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬುಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
In Shivamogga district, about 150 kilometers from northeast of Udupi, the epicenter of hijab row in Karnataka, saw 13 students from 8th to 10th grade were sent back home without writing exams after they refused to remove their hijabs. A state minister said the students opted to leave their exams rather than take off their hijabs.
Exam का टाइम उधर ऑफिसर्स ने मना किया, आप लोग यूनिफॉर्म में रहिए और एग्ज़ाम लिखो, लेकिन उन्होंने जिद किया, नहीं निकाली। तभी उनका माँ बाप को भी बुलाया गया। उनका माँ बाप आने का साथ से 7 बच्चे बाहर आ गए एक साथ और घर गए।
The principal of Shivamogga Government School says students were told to remove their hijabs in accordance with an interim High Court order that said educational institutions could reopen but no religious clothing would be allowed. The parents claim that the school had allowed students to wear a hijab earlier.
ಕೈ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಮಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ದು ಮಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪಾಪ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕಾಫ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬುರ್ಕ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಸ್ಕಾಫ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು.
In Udupi district, where the controversy erupted in December, a class 9 student at a government-run school told NDTV that they were wearing the hijabs into school, but removed it in the class, and this they have been practicing since many years.
Has the principal instructed you not to wear hijab and come to school, college? Instructions ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. So did they ask you to, do you remove hijab in the class when it is?
Yes.
You remove. Is that a practice by you?
Yeah.
It has been a practice.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a few classmates of yours, did they wear hijab in the class?
Yeah.
Did they wear? ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಾ?
ಅವರು ಮೊದಲು ಹಾಕ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Okay.
4 days ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮೊದಲು. ಮತ್ತೆ 3 ದಿನದಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅವರು ಹಾಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ.
ಅದು ಕಾರಣ ಏನಾದರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ನಿಮಗೆ?
ಇಲ್ಲ.
You don't know.
Though tension has simmered across the state, the fate of many students who want to wear the hijab and attend classes hangs in balance. Even as protests simmered across the state and also classes resumed for high school for 9th and 10th, what we did see on ground was many students were not allowed to enter educational institutions wearing a hijab. In fact, today in Karnataka High Court, while hearing some of the major submissions being made by the Defence Counsel of one of the petitioners, Mr. Kamath did of course mention saying that the dress code that's been followed by Kendriya Vidyalaya, that's run by the central government. Now, according to their dress code, it does prescribe that where Muslim girls will be allowed to wear headscarves matching either with their bottom wear as far as the skirt or a trouser is concerned. Hearing all these submissions, the High Court adjourned the case to tomorrow 2:30 p.m. In Udupi, with camera person Govind Srija for NDTV.
And amidst this hijab row, colleges are now to reopen in Karnataka. The pre-university colleges are to reopen from the 16th of February, has tweeted the state education minister. And it's all eyes on Punjab now as we look ahead to the third phase of polling. The Prime Minister addressed his first rally in Punjab since last month's security lapse, when he was forced to spend 20 minutes on a flyover on his way to a rally because of a blockade by farm protesters. He took a swipe at the Congress and the state security situation. The Congress's Rahul Gandhi hit right back.
आज मेरी इच्छा थी कि इस कार्यक्रम के बाद देवी जी के चरणों में जाकर के नमन करूं, देवी जी का आशीर्वाद लूं, लेकिन यहां के प्रशासन ने, यहां की पुलिस ने हाथ ऊपर कर दिया। उन्होंने कहा हम व्यवस्था नहीं कर पाएंगे, आप हेलीकॉप्टर से ही चले जाइए। अब ये हाल है सरकार का यहां।
नरेंद्र मोदी जी अपने भाषण में, हर भाषण में कहते थे 15 लाख रुपए मैं बैंक अकाउंट में डाल दूंगा। डालिया? कहते थे 2 करोड़ युवाओं को रोजगार दूंगा, 2 करोड़ युवाओं को रोजगार दूंगा। मिल गया? आज नरेंद्र मोदी अपने भाषण में रोजगार की बात क्यों नहीं करते? नरेंद्र मोदी जी अपने भाषण में काले धन की बात क्यों नहीं करते?
And amidst an increasingly shrill, polarized campaign, all assembly seats in Goa and Uttarakhand, besides 55 constituencies in Uttar Pradesh in the second phase of the state polls, voted peacefully on Monday. It is a high-stakes election for the ruling BJP and a litmus test for the Modi government's policies that have been targeted by the Congress, AAP and other opposition parties during their campaign. Uttar Pradesh recorded 61.8% of a voter turnout. 61.8% voter turnout in the second phase of these elections. Uttarakhand, a 59.5% voter turnout, and in Goa, the polling for 40 seats ended with a 78.9% voter turnout recorded. Tight security arrangements were in place in the politically crucial state of Uttar Pradesh, where 586 candidates contested in this phase from 55 seats spread across 8 sensitive constituencies, the areas that are considered strongholds of the Samajwadi Party.
After today, polling is over in a quarter of UP's constituencies, and today's 55 are in a belt seen as a Samajwadi stronghold. Last time the party won 15 of its 47 seats here, despite a dismal performance elsewhere. Many of the districts that saw polling today have a sizable Muslim population, and the SPRLD alliance is hoping to retain that vote and draw in votes from scheduled castes and non-Yadav OBC communities too. Also in the mix is the Congress that won 2 of the 55 seats last time. The big battle is in Rampur. Jailed Lok Sabha MP and Samajwadi Party leader Azam Khan against the BJP's Akash Saxena and the ex-royal Nawab Qasim Ali from the Congress. The Nawab feels that 9-time MLA Azam Khan will get no sympathy for being in jail.
आपको क्या लगता है as a person in the political prisoner and no government has sent him to jail. He's committed a crime, so he has to face the consequences.
It's also interesting that the Nawab's own son, Haider Ali, is an NDA candidate from a nearby assembly segment called Suar, again with a sizable Muslim population. He is up against Azam Khan's son, Abdullah Azam. The BJP feels that not Hindus, but even Muslims will vote for them on law and order.
बलवाइयों का, बाहुबलियों का और बकैतों का ब्रदरहुड था, और ये जो है बलवाइयों, बाहुबलियों और बकैतों का जो 3B ब्रदरहुड था,
इसमें सिर्फ समाजवादी पार्टी है, सब लोगों को आपने लपेटा है।
अब इसमें जो है 3B बिड में तो जो पिछली 5 साल पहले जो सरकार थी उसमें तो उन्होंने हाईजैक कर रखा था। अब योगी जी ने आके 3B ब्रदरहुड का बंटाधार किया।
But makers of the Rampuri Chhuri or dagger reveal a larger economic crisis faced by several sections here.
मेरी सोच ये है कि हम बनाते तो हैं और इसको बेचने वाले जो हैं वो हिंदू हैं। बाहर से जो लोग आते हैं वो हिंदू बिरादरी के होते हैं। मेरा एक का काम बंद है, उन 20 आदमियों का काम बंद है। अगर मैं इसको एक आदमी बनाऊंगा तो 20 आदमी लेके जाऊंगा।
नहीं, लेकिन ये कब से बंद हुआ? क्या इसी जो मौजूदा सरकार है इसमें बंद हुआ या बहुत जमाने से ऐसा हो रहा है?
ये 15 साल से है, लगभग इस पे 15 साल से बैंड है।
In second phase of Uttar Pradesh, Muslim population is significant. In Muradabad, Muslim votes are above 45%. In Bijnor, above 41%. And in Bareilly also, which is stronghold of BJP, Muslim votes are above 25%.
Chief Minister Adityanath in an early morning interview brought up his controversial 80-20 comment again, but denied it was targeted against any one community.
भाई मैंने तो 80-20 की बात की थी। मैंने कहा 80% बीजेपी के साथ होगा, 20% हमेशा विरोध करता है, विरोध करेगा। हमने जाति, मौत, मजहब की बात नहीं की थी। हमने तो 80 बनाम 20 की बात की थी।
An important vote in the Shahjahanpur district too, one of UP's major paddy producing areas, where 5 of 6 Vidhan Sabha seats are with the BJP. The biggest battle here on the southern or town seat, where 8-time MLA and UP Finance Minister Suresh Khanna is aiming for a 9th straight victory. Up against him, the Samajwadi Party's Tanveer Khan.
विकास के मुद्दे हैं। हमारी पार्टी ने, हमारी सरकार जब 2012 से 17 तक थी, माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी ने पूरे प्रदेश की जनता के लिए ऐतिहासिक काम किए, विकास किया। लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी विकास के मुद्दों पर नहीं, बल्कि धर्म जाति के नाम पर पूरी तरह से जनता को गुमराह कर जो है वोट हासिल करना चाहती है।
हमारा सिर्फ विकास और सिर्फ विकास ही एजेंडा है।
Like I said, there are long queues here. Male voters also, female voters in different queues and all of them. अच्छा, किस तरह की नौकरी ढूंढ रहे हैं, मतलब क्या क्वालिफिकेशन है आपका?
हमारी बीएससी है। बीएससी फर्स्ट ईयर है।
तो नौकरी यहीं करना चाहते हैं? आपको लगता है बाहर जाना पड़ेगा?
अपने स्टेट में करना चाहते हैं।
आपको लगता है कि आपके स्टेट में अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं इस वक्त?
जी अभी तो नहीं है, इस सरकार में तो नहीं मिली है।
नहीं है आपके हिसाब?
नहीं।
Voting will resume in UP after a 6-day gap. With Saurabh Shukla, Sanket Upadhyay and camera person Rajesh Gupta, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
And though a small seaside state with only 40 seats, the contest in Goa has drawn the maximum eyeballs after UP with the surprise outcome in 2017 when the Congress won the maximum number of seats, but the BJP formed the government. This time, Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party and Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress are also in the fray with hopes to expand their footprint beyond Delhi and Bengal.
Eco-friendly green booths and all-women pink booths to welcome the Goan voter in this high-stakes battle. The governor was amongst the first to vote.
Our election system is perfect and we are considered as the largest democracy in the world, One thing I studied about Goa, there's no political clashes. The people of Goa are having an higher democratic concepts and political concepts.
The stakes are high. In 2017, the BJP got only 13 seats but managed to form a government with smaller parties and later by breaking the Congress. This time too, the Chief Minister is confident, but don't be so sure, says his Congress rival.
Yeah, it is definitely I'm confident that we are getting the 22 plus seats in the state of Goa. We are winning with a majority. Definitely all the people, they loves me, and whatever the infrastructure development required in the state, in my own constituency, which I had completed, and I'm fully confident I'm winning this election by more than 4,000 margin.
The Home Minister coming and campaigning for Chief Minister, that itself proves that he's losing the ground. I don't have to say much.
The X factor this time is parties like the Aam Aadmi Party. People want a change from Goa's defection culture, says the Aam Aadmi Party's chief ministerial candidate.
Last time people chose Congress here. They defected to BJP. Only one party which has come out in open and given a guarantees, given a vision for Goa is Aam Aadmi Party. So I think people of Goa are coming out with a hope, and that hope is culminating into the number of people who are voting right now. So I think there's going to be a sea change. This is a wave.
The voters here want jobs, better roads, a clean Goa and no corruption.
The garbage is all over the place and the roads are bad. The potholed roads, everywhere there are potholed roads.
Garbage is definitely an issue, dry garbage, and the roads, of course. And apart from that, I think jobs for youth. I think a lot of our youth are jobless.
The youth is very highly educated, so they should always opt for jobs which is according to their qualifications, and there should be transparency in this matter.
So the main issue right now is the need for a new face. What happens is when the same old politicians are participating for years and years together, there's no new ideas coming in. They just have their egos and their attitudes playing in the game, and because of which the progress and development of society doesn't take place.
I don't want the country to split, so my vote was accordingly to that intention. And important is also the development of this place. Another important point was corruption.
As the sun sets, Goa has voted. In a small state like Goa, the margins between winners and losers is often too small, making it an extremely hard election to predict. Which way have the winds blown, we'll know on the 10th of March. With camera person Sanjay Mandal, this is Rishika Barua in Goa for NDTV.